Let me introduce today's presenter. She comes from Jämsä, Finland. She has earned her Master of Arts degree in art history from the University of Jyväskylä in Finland. Her thesis to complete her degree was on Finnish American architecture and architects in northern and eastern parts of the United States of America, 1850 to 1950, heading being from rural tradition to urban ideal. So she is also somewhat familiar with the Finnish America. Since 2010, she has been a curator at the Museum of Central Finland, specializing in built heritage. And above all, her sauna resume is impressive. She is a sauna enthusiast, specializing in Finnish sauna culture and smoke saunas. She is a chairperson of Finnish Sauna Culture Association, which owns and operates Sauna Village in Jämsä. Sauna Village is a place of living sauna culture and home of 24 historical smoke saunas, which have been restored for use as public saunas, providing a sauna experience that you could have had 100 years ago in Finland. She is also a chairperson of Sauna Circle, the UNESCO Intangible Heritage, the Finnish sauna culture, and she is a sauna master, saunamestari, which is an honorary title given for the work that she has done on behalf of Finnish sauna and its history and saving Sauna Village. She is Saija Silen. Welcome, Saija. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Greetings from Finland. It's Sunday evening here, and I'm happy that this wasn't organized on Saturday, because otherwise I would be in sauna right now, but instead I'm here, so it's good that it's Sunday. Yes, I'm right now in Jämsä, pretty close to Sauna Village, and one of the places in the world that you could really experience the Finnish sauna culture in its all wide variety of different kind of saunas and different ways of having a sauna, and find out the mighty power of löyly, the secret of Finnish well-being. And maybe that's also the secret of our happiness, since we've been the happiest country in the world. So maybe it's because of the sauna. I think in outside Finland, you can call almost any Finn as a sauna enthusiast, but it's just a way of living here. Our sauna culture is over 1,000-year-old tradition, and it's still going strong, evolving, moving from passing it on from generation to generation. And surprisingly, I think not that much has changed during the hundreds or 1,000 years in sauna culture. It has all the essence in it, the feeling, the spirit, and the tradition that we're kind of all built with while we grow up. Like it was said, I've been studying historical saunas, especially smoke saunas, sauna culture and traditions for the last decade over. And my main work is to volunteer in Sauna Village, which was a rescue project. And in fact, this picture that you see here, there's my daughter next to me. And it was the first time that we heated a smoke sauna in Jämsä in 2017, after we have moved 24 smoke saunas from Muurame to Jämsä and started to rescue them and repairing them. So I wanted to put this photo here because I have to tell you a secret. In fact, I wasn't a sauna person in the beginning. I was just a Finn. You know, I went to sauna every Saturday. And in the summertime, I went there more often with my grandparents or on summer vacation. And I've only had been once in my lifetime in a smoke sauna. And my great grandmother, who lived in the countryside, at that time didn't have even electricity, but she had 5 cows and she had a smoke sauna. And I went there when I was 3 years old. And it was a terrible experience. It smelled like smoke, like something had burned. It was all black and dark. And when you came out from the sauna, you were dirtier than when you went in, because of course you leaned back to the smoke sauna walls that were all black, and you kind of just shred of, put the black dirt all over you because you didn't see anything because it was pitch dark. And it was so traumatic experience that even when I was an adult, I remember that one time that I went to the smoke sauna. But when I heard first time of the sauna village, that it's going to go down or they're going to close it, and it's a collection of 24 historical smoke saunas, that some of them are probably the only last ones in the world. I thought that what if my daughter doesn't ever have the possibility of experience that thing that I experienced when I was 3? And my daughter was born at that same year when the news came out. And that's why I hopped into the saving a sauna village, saving the collection of smoke saunas, so my daughter could at least once in her lifetime experience the same thing that I experienced in a smoke sauna. And I can tell you that she has grown to be a pretty hardcore smoke sauna enthusiast, and she's now 12 years old. And every Saturday she comes to Sauna Village and goes through all the smoke saunas that are warm and never misses a Saturday sauna. Well, about the sauna culture in Finland. So we have approximately 3.2 million saunas here. Our population right now is 5.5 million people. So we have pretty much sauna enthusiasts here. I think if people would want to, they could all have a sauna at the same time in Finland, but not everybody are so into sauna anyway. The most known Finnish word in other languages is sauna, and it's been even put to the Merriam Dictionary with the translation. And I think in America also you can find in some places the word sauna and find a real sauna there. Finns bath over 200 million times a year, which is a lot. Some people go to the sauna only once a week or once a month, but some people go to sauna every day. Most of us go to the sauna from 1 to 3 times a week, and I'm one of those who go. But I do go to smoke saunas, which puts me kind of in a higher position. Most common sauna day is Saturday still, and it has really strong historical foundation, which I'm going to tell you later about. And since the beginning of Finnish history, we don't even know when sauna came to Finland. But we do know that it's at least a 1,300 years old tradition, and that we have proofs of, which are historical documents, written word, and archaeological research can also prove that. Earlier times, not so strong proofs. But what I consider the biggest thing that Finnish sauna has given to our culture, and maybe to the social democratic background, to welfare state, is that in sauna, everyone is equal. When you don't wear clothes, you can't say who's rich or poor, who's somebody notable and who's just regular, everyday Joe. And it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man, where they come from, what is their background, what's their social status, or what's their religious background. We're all the same. Being naked in a sauna, especially with strangers, is something that I know that a lot of people think is uncomfortable or weird, but it has given us the equality. And being naked isn't anything sexual in Finland, or well, at least in sauna, excuse me. I'll correct that. So Finns like to keep the distance between each others when they have their clothes on, but when they're in a sauna, they can sit right next to each other's, bum next to a bum, and that's totally good, even if they don't know who the person next to them is. So I think equality is the thing that sauna brings to our society and has given it to us for hundreds of years. Even even if there was a stranger or visitor who they've never met before, and he or she came to the house on Saturday when there was a sauna, they were always invited to have a sauna with the family who lived at the house. So it's place for everyone, and the doors of sauna are always open, and that's the best thing for me in sauna. So sauna as a part of Finnish lifestyle, well, it's the source of happiness. It's also, I think, part of our lifespan. In average, Finns have their first bath in sauna when they turn 6 months old, and they pretty much continue having sauna until they die. Even retirement houses have saunas that they are taking the old people whenever it's possible and their physical condition is good enough for it. But it's also kind of the vital element for Finnish life. I don't know if there would be Finnish people without sauna. I think our Finnish president Urho Kaleva Kekkonen was born in a smoke sauna. When Finns used to die in old days, they were taken to sauna and washed before they were put in the coffin and taken to the cemetery. In sauna, we used to take care of our health and medication. We had cupping and bloodletting, massage, all kind of herbs used. We have healers coming to treat sick people in sauna. It was part of our social life. We taught our worries to our friends or family members there. We shared, we spent time with our family. We spent time with our friends. We spent time there alone, just whatever we felt like. Finnish kids learn traditional sauna bathing skills from their parents in the same way their parents have learned from their parents. And it's part of growing up in Finland. And it's also a thing that makes sauna bathing one of the most important shared rituals in Finland families have. It's also really important to have sauna traditions on holidays. For example, Christmas sauna is something that almost every Finnish family has. Sauna relates also to our morals and belief system. Before Christianity, sauna had rites and ceremonies, and also sauna spirits that were important for the people at that time. When Christianity came to Finland, it was really important to have a sauna and clean up before you went to the church, and also just remember to have the Sunday, the resting day, and Sunday you don't go to sauna because then you have to rest and get some energy for the next week. Food and daily living, it was really important that Finns had sauna where they could cure meat and smoke meat, ferment malts, which helped them to keep their food good. When there were no refrigerators and modern facilities, it was really important to be clean and hygienic, so not all the germs and lices and all kind of bugs didn't bother us. It was also a place for relaxation and mental health, which is still really important part of our sauna experience. Beauty and well-being, we have all kind of sauna treatments even nowadays, and they're really popular. Sauna was also a place to live at some point. It was often the first building that was built to the farm. And in some cases, the sauna was taken also a part of the housing when the old couple needed a place to stay. When the younger family took over the main house, it was a place to put your guests when you had some and you didn't have space in the main house. Also, workers or poor people could be inhabited in a sauna building. Then building skills. Sauna was a building that had certain kind of elements that you had to know how to do it. Also, the heating of a smoke sauna was really important, as well as later saunas, so you don't burn your sauna as long as there's fire. you also have to know that not to put anything on the stove, even if it's an electric stove. And it's also a part of our culture that kind of is built into us. Everyone in Finland knows how to have a sauna, and everyone in Finland knows that normally you go to sauna naked. And that's probably, even if you're an immigrant in Finland, in school, they take you to sauna at the swimming hall and teach you all this cultural stuff, even if you're not born in here. But if you come here and visit Finland without no one telling how to act or have a sauna, it would be kind of difficult to figure it out. But good thing is that whenever you go to a public sauna in Finland or a sauna with Finnish people, they're glad to tell you how to be in sauna and tell you stories about the sauna and just try to make you feel as comfortable as they can so you can enjoy the sauna. So it was mentioned that Finland got the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Human Kind in 2020. So it was the first thing that was inscribed from Finland to the UNESCO listing. It got there because of, well, what else could you bring from Finland? If you've tried to think about what would be immaterial thing in Finland that everybody in this country knows and also practices, I think the sauna culture is pretty much the only thing that it can pick. So it was great that it was picked the first one. Later on, we've had a few other ones coming to the UNESCO listing, but sauna culture is the most wide immaterial or intangible tradition that you can find in Finland. And sauna bathing is a natural part of many Finnish people's lives, but we don't always realize it ourselves, in fact, because it's such a natural part. Even those who don't usually bath in saunas are familiar with the process, which just shows how strong the tradition is. Sauna tradition is also a living, evolving tradition. We haven't stuck into the past. So that's also the beauty of Finnish sauna culture, that it goes on. And the sauna community here, or Finnish people, feel that it's important that we also give the information and knowledge about the Finnish sauna culture to abroad, so we can show and keep alive how Finnish sauna tradition is practiced. Adding sauna bathing to the UNESCO list will also increase the awareness regarding to the sauna culture and the significance of sauna bathing to the Finnish society. The Finnish Sauna Circle, which in Finnish is called Saunarinki, is voluntary-based and free network. Anybody can join in. That is put together by sauna enthusiasts, sauna associations, public saunas, entrepreneurs, business people, and other organizations. Right now, we have over 1,300 people. It's a member of it, and anyone can join. And if you want to have more information about the Finnish sauna culture, living heritage circle called the Finnish Sauna Circle, Saunarinki, go to the Facebook, and you'll find the contact information there. And right now, still this year, I'm going to be the president of the Saunarinki, and it's going to be passed on to another organization next year. This is a picture of a Sauna Village, our 18th century sauna called Virpiö. So all the saunas have their own names. So they're like kids or people that we take care of. And this is how we're gonna change the topic to the history of Finnish sauna, or the origins of Finnish sauna. So what we know so far, the past of the sauna is mystery. We don't know when it was established in Finland, when it arrived. We do know that hot rooms or sauna-like structures are pretty global phenomenon. So Finland wasn't the only place that had this kind of structures. They were all over Finland, all over the world, and we don't know when it arrived to Finland. So in fact, sauna is a cultural loan. We didn't invent it. It came probably from different directions because of the simultaneous hot room cultures and traditions that were all over the world. But the first structures of sauna-like use were probably from the Stone Age, approximately 8,600 before Christ. But the problem is that archaeologists cannot make the difference, cannot see the difference if there's a stone structure, stone stove. Is it for cooking or having a sauna? Because there's no written information or history how those structures were used. So that's why we can't prove that there were saunas. We know that there were stone stoves, but what was the use? Who knows? The best knowledge that we have comes from other cultures and also the few structures that are left. We don't know the function. Was it spiritual? Was it purifying? Was it like having a sauna nowadays? It has multiple functions. We don't know. But it was kind of a structure that looked like a tent or a hole in the ground that was covered with leather. The oldest form of sauna that we know in Finland is a dirt pit sauna that was still constructed in 20th century, in beginning of 20th century. And this is probably something that also maybe Stone Age people could have done. And these pictures are from the beginning of 20th century. The second one is from 1956. So the tradition of building an underground or a dirt pit sauna was still strong after 1,000 years. But the sauna that we know nowadays was established in early Iron Age, or we can call the Viking Age, around 700 to 800. Here you can see different kind of sauna structures and also sauna stoves. The sauna that we have nowadays is pretty much the same thing that was created on Iron Age. It has the same features still. It's a square structure. At that time it was dwelled, so it was made out of logs. There was a stove, but unlike in Stone Age, when the stove was in the middle of the structure, now in the Iron Age, the stone was moved to the side of the structure, the corner of the structure. And that's really important thing when you have a sauna, that you have this heating stove, kiuas, as we call it in Finnish, in the corner or in the doorway, so you can heat it. The important thing that we have to remember compared to the modern saunas is that these were all smoke saunas, so there were no chimney. That pile of rocks that you can see there is the stove, and they put the fire inside and they heated the rocks. And the rocks were heated so that they were burning red. And the smoke, because there was no chimney, was left inside the building. But you heated the sauna so that there was a door open and there was kind of chimney-like structure on top that gave air and also took some of the smoke out. But you kind of heated the sauna with the door open. So you didn't heat the air, but you heated the rocks. And when the sauna was hot enough, you stopped heating it and you emptied the kiuas, the stove, from burning material, and you ventilated the sauna so the air was clean and clear and there was no smoke inside. And you closed the door, and the pile of rocks that was burning hot radiated the heat around the space. So the smoke sauna is called once heated stove or once heated sauna. And here's some pictures of the variety of different parts of Finland of the saunas. So where in Finland we have this Eastern tradition, Western tradition, and Northern tradition almost in all parts of our culture. It concerns language, food, and also sauna. And what I want you to tell with these pictures, it is that the smoke sauna or the sauna was pretty much the same from Iron Age until the 1940s. But the variety came by where the sauna was built. So some of the variations were related to the region's natural resources, what kind of wood there was available, was the land swampy, and what kind of rocks there were typical for the district. Finns always built their buildings with what was available, because life was hard enough to deal with the harsh conditions of cold winters, crop failures, and long distances. And they did not use their energy to find the finest marbles or the most beautiful wood from the north. They did not dream of building anything fancy. They just built what they needed. Besides the material that were available for the construction on the construction site or nearby area, also the period of time when it was built related to the fact how the sauna was constructed. Because, for example, log buildings were dwelt with axe until the 19th century. Then the use of saw became more common, and the use of lumber became part of the sauna buildings in late 19th century, when the amount of lumber mills increased, notably in Finland, and the lumber became cheaper. So that's how the log building got the addition in front of it, like you can see from the pictures, that was made of lumber. Then there was saunas built out of turf, which was a typical material for the Oulu district, kind of a northwest of Finland. And it was kind of a small area where they built turf saunas. And it didn't go anything further because that was the only area where they had a lot of swampland. So there's local or regional features that you can only find in certain parts of Finland, but those features lasted for hundreds of years because Finns believe that if you construct something well, like if your dad made a good sauna, and when the sauna became old and the logs rotted, the son made a similar sauna as was his dad's sauna, and his son built a sauna like his dad's and his dad's sauna. So the sauna didn't really change much because it was perfect how it was. So generations after generations, they kind of just rebuilt their father's saunas with small additions, maybe with the lumber, maybe with the window, but mainly the same structure stayed the same, and also the use of materials. Here's a picture of the smoke sauna being heated. It's from 1950s. And when I talk about sauna, probably because of my background, I often talk about smoke sauna, and I totally forget that everybody else probably talks about modern sauna with the chimney that we normally have, that we normally visit every day or every week. But this is the sauna. So smoke sauna was the most common sauna from 8th century to the 1940s, pretty much, in the countryside. It was approximately, well, a lot over 100,000 years, only sauna type existing in Finland. So when we talk about sauna in the way that we talk about modern sauna that is less than 100 years old phenomenon. The Finnish sauna culture is based on smoke sauna and how we've used it. And here's interiors of smoke saunas from Sauna Village. And these are all functioning smoke saunas. Then you can have a sauna on every Saturday. And here's one of the first known drawings of a Finnish sauna from late 18th century by Italian expeditioner Giuseppe Acerbi. And in fact, sauna in 18th century or 19th century or beginning of 20th century in smoke sauna didn't look much different. And in this photo, we can tell that he had been visited in Western Finland malt sauna because the space is high and people climb up to the big platforms, white platforms, which also were used to making malts for the beer. So by this photo, Giuseppe tells us that he visited Western Finland, where he drew the picture of the sauna. Finnish people do think that sauna cures pretty much anything and gives you good physical strength, and nothing much have changed from those times. The basic sauna ritual is still the same as it was hundreds or thousands years ago. Warming up, sweating, taking a low vapor and whisking with the branches of birch in sauna, then washing and cooling off and repeating that. So löyly, which is the foundation of Finnish sauna experience, is the steam and hot vapor produced by putting water on hot rocks, which is the sauna stove. And that's the stove is the spirit of the sauna. It depends on how you heat it and how the water becomes a löyly in it, tells you what kind of sauna experience you will have. Mainly, sauna is heated to typically 70 to 105 degrees. It depends. In smoke saunas, you couldn't really tell what was the temperature because smoke sauna was once heated. And that meant that when you got it to the perfect hot temperature and you stopped heating it, the sauna had like a lifespan. The longer you had sauna, the cooler it got. So the hard-headed young fellows traditionally and middle-aged men went to the sauna the first when it was the hottest, just after it was stopped heating. And then next ones were the young women. After the young women, kind of the middle warmth, it was the turn of mothers with their younger kids to go and have a sauna. And in the end of the evening, the old couple, the grandmother and grandfather, went and had the softest, most humid löyly, but with the least temperature. So once heated, you couldn't heat it up again like you can do nowadays. That's also the secret of smoke sauna löyly, because if you go in 15 minutes later, the löyly and the heat is totally different than it was 15 minutes earlier. And depending also how many people is there to share it, also affects to the löyly. Often people wonder about nudity in Finnish sauna. For a Finn, the sauna is sacrosanct, so indecent behavior never had a place in the sauna. And in the Finnish countryside, it was common that men and women, old and young, bathed together until the turn of the 20th century. And it would have been wasteful to heat this smoke sauna just for one family because it took hours and hours to heat. For example, 4 to 7 hours, depending on the size of the smoke sauna. So often they shared the sauna with their neighbors or the village people or their guests. Also, the workers could have their sauna turn. But the times changed, manners changed, more people lived in the cities. And nowadays it's common that only family members or couples go to sauna together, naked. And otherwise men and women have their own sauna turns on their own, or they use swimsuits nowadays. This is something that a lot of us has forgotten, but snow bathing, we haven't really been ice swimming in old days. That's a pretty new and modern thing too. But sauna bathing was the way to cool ourselves and wash ourselves instead of, because they in old days didn't use much water. So snow bathing was the way to get rid of all the dirt. And also when the hot skin reached the cold snow, it turned into a water which washed away the dirt. And also in old days, people believed that you don't need to use water when you're in the sauna because your sweat is purifying your body. And the more you sweat, the cleaner you get. So you could just kind of dry your skin after a sauna and no need to wash. I think the modern day people think differently. But snow bathing was one way of using water instead of using the water in sauna, and also scrape the skin off from the dirt from the skin easier than just washing with water. The ice swimming is like more of a 20th century phenomenon because in old days, Finns didn't live next to a lake. They might have had river, but only rarely they built their house next to a lake, and where their house was also their sauna. So going from sauna to lake was too much of a trouble in old days. Sauna spirits is probably something that you've all heard. So when Finns started a new settling or a new farm, cut down the trees and built their first building to the new location, the new building was often a sauna, and the family lived in the sauna until they finished their house, their farmhouse, the main house. And in old days, Finnish people think that the most powerful spirit always moved to the building that was built the first. And because Finns tend to build a sauna first to their new location, the sauna spirit or sauna elf was the strongest spirit in the yard. The meaning of a sauna spirit or sauna elf was to protect the family and also protect the building. But it also related to the fact that Finns believed that sauna, and especially löyly, the steam coming from the stove, was connection to the other side, kind of a way how they could communicate from their ancestors and with the spirit world. And from this point of view, the sauna elves and the sauna spirits were part of that pantheistic or animistic belief system. The sauna elves and spirits were also a really important thing for Finnish families to teach their kids manners and morals, which could be the better place to tell how to behave in society and in home than telling how to behave in sauna. Because the rules to behave in sauna is pretty much the same that how you need to act outside the sauna. You shouldn't swear, you shouldn't talk bad about other people, you shouldn't lie, you shouldn't spit or pee on the stove or have indecent behavior, you shouldn't go there drunk, and you have to always clean up after yourself so the surrounding would be clean for the next one to come and use the same space. You shouldn't shout, you have to consider other people who are sharing space, etc. The way Finnish parents were teaching their kids was, of course, telling these rules how to behave in sauna, but also by scaring them by the terrible revenge of sauna spirit, because things happened in sauna. There was a hot stove, you could burn yourself, or hot steam might come to your face and burn you. If you didn't heat the sauna well, the sauna might have burned, and in the worst case, it could have burned the whole farm. And if you didn't do what your parents said, the revenge of sauna elf could be terrible. So you have to keep the sauna spirit happy when you had a sauna. Christianity, when it came to Finland, took a place in sauna too. The fifth command said that you have to have a Sunday as a resting day, so that's why you have to have your sauna on Saturday. But because the Finns like to have their sauna really late, suddenly they were starting to have this rumor that if you go to the sauna after midnight, there's going to be a devil having a sauna then. And if you share your sauna shift with the devil, nothing good comes after that. So whenever there was some terrible murder or somebody lost their mind or whatever tragical happened, it was said that it's because that person had a sauna with the devil after midnight on Sunday, between Saturday and Sunday night. There was also proverb that said that in Finland that you have to act in sauna like you are in a church, but I've been wondering, it could be vice versa. If you know the past of Finns, it might be that they transported their sauna manners to the church. How you act in sauna, so you have to act in church too. And here's a declaration of sauna piece that relates also to the manners. So King Maunu Ladonlukko in 13th century, who was king of Sweden and Finland, had this declaration for sauna peace that said that you have to, this sauna peace declaration is more modern, but the original one said that you shouldn't argue with anybody, you have to be friendly minded and give peace for those who go to the sauna. At the same time, in fact, he gave a declaration for toilet peace too. So there was two places that you need to be in peace and without people bothering you. It's sauna and toilet. And from 1986 on, Finns have had the Finnish Sauna Day, and the declaration for sauna peace have always been announced in some public sauna in Finland. So this is an old sauna interior in Helsinki, early 20th century. Nothing much has changed so far. So from the Iron Age until to the 20th century, the sauna interior and the manners pretty much were the same. Well, running out of time because I like to talk about sauna. The difference that Finnish sauna culture has for other hot room traditions or hot room cultures in other parts of the world, even in Russia, is that Finnish sauna is multifunctional space that was used almost to all daily living things in Finland. It was the most used building in the farm. Other buildings in the farm were used just for one purpose. In the main building you lived, you slept and ate. In barn, you took care of the animals, and then you had hay barns and things like that. But in sauna, you did pretty much almost anything that was related to the survival. The sauna was also related to the development of Finnish society and development of farming. And the closer we get to the modern time, the less different kind of functions sauna held in it anymore. We can still name different kind of saunas by how the building was used for different kind of functions. We had malt sauna when we made beer. We had spirit sauna where you made alcohol. We had meat sauna that you cured meat. We had birth sauna when ladies went there and had their child in sauna. We had bridal sauna before the wedding. We have Christmas sauna just before on the Christmas Eve. We have lice sauna to get rid of the lices. We have cupping sauna to take care of our health. We have sausage sauna to smoke sausages, and so on and so on. That just tells how many functions one building can have in Finnish daily life. Women traditionally were the ones who heated the sauna, not men. So in agricultural society, women were taking care of the sauna, and women were the empresses or the queens of the sauna building. Men built the sauna, but ladies took care of the sauna. When it came to the heating, the more important holiday, for example, Easter or Midsummer or Christmas, there was, the more important women of the house needed to heat the sauna to ensure that there was a good load on this important day that often had some kind of rites sewn into it. So the reason why women were heating the sauna was really simple in old days. When men went to their fields to take care of the crop or cultivate, or went and do the forest work, they went far away from the farm. And women worked at the farm, taking care of the kids, making food, curing meat, taking care of the kettle. So they were there next to the sauna all the time. And who's the more important person than women because they can do several things at the same time. So when they were doing their household works, on the left hand, they were heating the sauna. AKA when they were looking at the window, they could see if there was the smoke coming from the smoke sauna, and when there wasn't no smoke coming, they knew that they had to go and add some wood in it. And especially in the farming, when there was a best time of the summer, the sauna was heated every day. So it was some addition to their daily job to heat the sauna. Also, the old men who couldn't do the field work or forest work often heated the sauna. It was also used to doing laundry and just daily household work, linen, curing and smoking meat and fish. That was something that kept us alive because we didn't have refrigerators. So it was really important to prepare the meat and fish so that it survived for a long time. Making malt, aka homebrewed. So we had sahti or kotikalja, or kotikalja, it's like a homebrewed that is called also the grandfather's beer. That was one important thing in western parts of Finland. So they didn't make malt in north or in eastern parts of Finland, or in western parts, which have really strong malt beer culture. And the malt saunas were the tall sauna buildings. Then the hygiene so the hygiene was also a really important part of Finnish sauna culture. Of course, you clean yourself, but you also got rid of all kinds of parasites. Sauna was used to get rid of lices and bed bugs and cockroaches. In old days, when it was the heart of the winter, the coldest time of the year, Finns left their main building that had all bugs, bed bugs and cockroaches, and went and lived in sauna for a few weeks. They let their house to freeze. That meant that also the bugs died. And at the same time, they could treat themselves with the heat and get rid of the lices and bed bugs, because a lot of the bugs or parasites can't handle heat that is over 60 degrees. Also, the smoke doesn't help if you smoke the clothes. And sauna with the heat and wood inside is also an antibacterial space. So having a good life means that nothing is itching or making you uncomfortable, and sauna helped with that. Important thing was that in Second World War, Finnish Army created this standard type of saunas that they built all over that were called a lice sauna. And it was these lice saunas were built after standard or model drawings wherever there was a front. And also you can see in the picture that the horses were taken into the lice sauna. On the other photo, you can see a model type of a lice sauna for men that helped. And it said that that's one of the reasons why Finns succeeded in the war so well, because they could concentrate on fighting instead of scratching. Women have, like I said, had a strong part of Finnish sauna culture, but I also believe that the equality that we had in sauna and also taking care of sauna was part of Finnish women getting their possibility to vote so early on and considered as equal with their men, having their own fortune and not being considered any weaker gender than men. I don't know if it's good or bad, but women took care of the sauna and most of the work inside the sauna, besides giving a birth in smoke sauna, which happened until the 1940s, but also curing meat and almost all the stuff that I just mentioned. The thing changed, the women's place in sauna changed after the Second World War. And that happened because the traditional way of living, the agricultural cultivation, living in farms, changed into a city life and modernization, working in cities, working in industrial places, kind of the farms getting smaller and less and also that the stoves became more faster to heat, and also that the new change of the law that gave Finns to have a day off and summer vacation meant that you could sit and heat sauna instead of doing all these other stuff at the same time. So it became a leisure, it became fun, and then men started to take care of the sauna and women just started to enjoy it. So sauna and health, I'm running out of time, but hopefully I can get this through. Sauna is, I think, the most important thing why Finns survived in these harsh conditions. Because Finnish sauna was the source of Finnish health and physical well-being. Sauna has been studied as a physical or health beneficial place ever since the 18th century on, and nowadays it's even more popular to do the research about how sauna helps your cardiovascular situation or your heart, and what's health benefits of sauna. And I totally think that there wouldn't be Finns survive without sauna, because there's the proverb that says that if sauna spirits and heart doesn't help, the illness is fatal, or the sauna is a poor man's pharmacy. And that is something that I'm going to show you in a few slides. So traditional cupping in Finnish kuppaus is done in sauna. First you have the heat, then a massage, and then you do the cupping. And there's the modern cupping from a photo from last year, and then cupping from 100 years ago. The environment has changed, but the main idea hasn't. And so the cupping is one really important way how Finns have been taking care of their health over centuries. Cupping is such an old thing that I don't know if there's proofs how long it has been used as a part of the healthcare, but it was used to remove pain, for example, from teeth, from back, by letting some blood out, and then using originally cow horns to cup. And nowadays there's more hygienic ways of doing it. Washing and massage. So Finns had public saunas that had washing ladies in it. They were something close to the physiotherapist nowadays. They massaged and washed people for compensation, and they were really a highly respected profession. They were all women, and they were organized as a trade union already in 1918. But already before that, there were washers who were often village ladies or massagers or cuppers who were talented entrepreneurs who took care of their families by making money, by being good in sauna treatments. And that's why also I see that the sauna had really important role in women's independence, because for generations, women had like these sauna professions, which weren't really professions in old days, but ever since the 20th century, they became respected healthcare professions. Then there's the whisking, which is kind of the homemade way of treating your health. When you whisk yourself with the birch branches, it accelerates the blood circulation on your skin. It helps you sweat more easier. It removes also the dirt, and it gives you essential oils to the air. So if you have lung problems or something, it also helps you through the skin and through the air. And Finns believe that when you had like headache, you had to start whisking from your foot. So you have to start whisking the furthest point of the pain and then get closer to the point that is sore. And that's the last part that you whisk. And then all the liquids in your body has kind of gone through and purified the pain away. So whisking is part of that poor man's pharmacy, besides that the whisks could also have some kind of medical herbs or different kind of branches in it that treated different kind of sicknesses and illnesses. Traditional whisking is still alive and doing well as Finnish sauna culture. And for example, in Sauna Village, you can have traditional whisking by whisker ladies or washers that know the traditional healing methods of Finnish sauna culture. And they are being trained also. So I think like every year there's like 20 to 40 people that have this training and became a traditional sauna treating professionals. First of all, before I'm finishing, first of all, I need to tell you that the period of the smoke saunas lasted a really long time, but the last 100 years have been such a rapid development of Finnish saunas and especially sauna stoves. So heating a smoke sauna in the countryside on a farm was part of the agricultural way of living that was really typical for Finland. But the way the world turned, the rapid industrialization, people moving to cities, and also that they started to manufacture stoves in different kind of ways, and adding a chimney that helped for the fire regulations, and it became more safe compared to the smoke saunas. The sauna changed to be modern sauna, 20th century sauna, but a lot of places in the countryside, a lot of farmers still built smoke saunas until the 1940s. A lot of the ladies of farms had their kids in a smoke sauna in 1940s. But in the cities, the building code, fire safety, everything changed the system, and they started to have their own saunas after the Second World War. Before the Second World War in the cities, most people used public saunas. And they started to have public saunas in cities in Finland from the 19th century on. And the most public saunas there were in 1940s, and like in Helsinki, they had like over 120 public saunas. So almost every block had a public sauna. But their heyday ended and public saunas started to disappear pretty fast from 60s on until the 1970s. And in the 80s, pretty much nobody went to the public saunas. But now we are living a new blooming of public saunas in Finland. And in the last 20 years, a new public saunas have been started. They are modern, and some people have started an old, already retired public sauna. So they have opened public saunas, and I think 4 or 5 public saunas stayed open all these years from beginning of 20th century until these days. But they are, I think there was 3 in Helsinki and 1 in Tampere called Rajaportti sauna that have stayed open for over 100 years now. Saunas were built wherever Finns went. And for example, the Finnish army had saunas in their front and in every battlefield and army base. And here's a picture of the evolution of saunas. Above, you can see all kind of smoke saunas from different districts. And in lower, you can see a yard sauna, typical outdoor sauna, then a summer cabin sauna, and in the corner, a modern harvia sauna for the city. And here's the evolution of stoves. So sauna stove in the corner is a smoke sauna stove. Then you can see the big one is from a public sauna from early 20th century. Then there's something between the smoke stove sauna and a metallic heating sauna with chimney. And then there's pretty much regular stove. It's called the fast stove. So it heated fast because you didn't have to heat that many rocks, but you had to remember to add wood all the time. And in the end, the red one is one of the first electric stoves. And then again, you can see the design of a contemporary stove, which has rocks, but nothing much more common with the first one anymore. Well, a few minutes about Sauna Village. So Sauna Village was in fact created in 1979, and it was the idea of keeping Finnish sauna culture alive, because in 1970s people noticed that the old smoke saunas have been disappeared, and we are losing a huge part of our sauna culture because people had new saunas and nobody was taking care of the old smoke saunas. And at 1970s, I think there was 1/3 left of the smoke saunas anymore, and they were rapidly just disappearing. And in 1979, people thought that we need to do something for it and start collecting different kind of smoke saunas from different cultural areas of Finland, from different times and in different construction materials and different construction ways. The idea was to create a tourist attraction that shows the Finnish sauna culture to foreign visitors and also tells the history of sauna to the Finnish people. So it was meant to be a tourist site and a sauna museum. Well, it was opened in 1982, and the project was like the project's godfather was President Urho Kaleva Kekkonen, who was supposed to open the sauna village in Muurame, central Finland. But at the time, he wasn't in a condition that he could have traveled anymore. So the President Mauno Koivisto, who I think was at that moment a prime minister, came and opened the sauna village, Sauna Kylä, in the beginning of the 80s, to become the visit card of Finnish sauna culture. The Sauna Village had a collection originally of 29 historical smoke saunas from different parts of Finland. Sadly, the owners of the museum or the Sauna Village couldn't take care of it so well that it could have worked out for the sauna buildings. The collection grew until 1994, when the last sauna was added to Sauna Village in Muurame, and after that it went down. And in 2010, the city of Muurame, who had the saunas in their land, said that we need to get rid of it and we're gonna finish this smoke sauna village, and whoever wants the collection can come and negotiate about it, or take one, or we can just tear them down. And at that point, it was the crucial moment for Finnish Sauna Culture Association. People who liked saunas or had some other kind of interest of old buildings like I did, talked, and as a result, we've realized that there's a collection, unique collection, the world's biggest collection of historical smoke saunas from 1750s to 1940s. There's nothing like that anywhere. There's saunas that have probably disappeared from the face of the earth, and the last surviving saunas are in that collection. And we need to do something so we can save the whole collection that tells the story of Finnish sauna culture from Iron Age to the 1940s. And that's when we created this association, which is based on voluntary work. We don't have any hired staff. We do everything as a voluntary base. We didn't have any funding when we went and asked if we could have the collection. And they said, sure, just take it and get rid of it in a few years. It's your problem. And then we started to find funding that was mainly collected from private people, and decided as a voluntary work and non-profit organization to make the biggest single transportation project as a whole sauna buildings in Finland, and transport the surviving 24 old saunas from Muurame to Jämsä to the new location and start restoring those as a functioning sauna buildings. because the idea for us was that no person can understand what is sauna by just looking at the walls. You have to experience the heat, the low, the interior, the whole thing in historical sauna. So our idea was to restore those saunas so anyone who wants can have a sauna in those old historical saunas. They can experience how it was to have a sauna 100 years ago in central Finland, 200 years ago in Lapland, 89 years ago in southern parts of Finland, by visiting all these saunas during a one night as a public sauna event. So we have open sauna evenings on every Saturday on the summertime. Last summer we had 9 to 12 different kind of smoke saunas from different parts of Finland heated, and you could go and have a tour of different saunas during the night and see what's your favorite sauna, or what kind of difference is löyly in this time of the evening or that time of the evening. The whole idea is that money can't be a problem. So the visiting Sauna Village is always free anytime. Whenever I'm there, I'm telling the history of sauna, whoever wants to listen to me. Anyone can volunteer. Sauna doors are always open. We don't have electricity or running water, so it's really the purpose of giving the experience of Finnish sauna culture as it was for 1,000 years before the modern sauna, and just have the sauna culture in its original form. And we believe that the sauna building is best when it's used. And here's a few photos of our voluntary work. We don't have any hired staff. We don't have any budget. We get our funding from the membership fees and 10 euros from the sauna fees on every Saturday in the summertime. So we have nowadays 23 historical smoke saunas because smoke saunas burned, and they are from different parts of Finland. And like I told you, the oldest ones are from 1750s and newest ones are from 1940s. We restore it with traditional materials. We use recycled materials. We teach whoever wants to learn how to heat a smoke sauna. We teach how to make a shingle roof or how to repair logs. So the doors are open for anyone. We've had people in rehab working with us as a way of getting back to the routines and learning new skills. We don't close door for anyone who wants to come. So Sauna Village is a place for anyone. And we hope to offer a learning experience about Finnish sauna culture, feeling how the smoke saunas were. And I hope that one Saturday evening in the summertime, one of you will be sitting next to me in the front of this Virpio smoke sauna and just listening to the birds, looking at the blue sky, washing under the blue sky from a pot of water, or going for a swim, and then, drying and going to the fireplace to get some sauna sausage done. Here's Sauna Village information. I'm not going to rant you more about it because I'm already over time. But here's a few sauna words for you as in the end. And if you like to learn the most important words. So savusauna is the smoke sauna. Kiuas is a sauna stove. Kiuaskivet is the sauna stones, the stones in the stove. And the most important word besides sauna is löyly. And it's really difficult to say to you, I know. But löyly is the spirit of the sauna. It's the vapor from the stove. And it's also the heat, the humidness. It's the spirit of the sauna that touches you when you're in a sauna. And when you go in Finnish sauna in the summertime, you need to have your gihta, or in different parts of Finland, they say vasta. which is the whisk made out of birch. And you always have to do your whisk before the mid-June. So before midsummer is the time to make the whisk so it holds up well. Vihtominen, whisking. Laute is the platform where you sit. When you go to a smoke sauna, there might be tiku, kisu, or kitku, which means that it hasn't been ventilated well, and you might have a few teardrops coming from your eyes before it clears out. So it's often a sign of a bad smoke sauna heating. And then avanto, hole in the ice. And I'll end it to this. So nowadays people think that after a sauna you'll have a beer and a sausage, but ever since the late 19th century, Finns have had a coffee after sauna, maybe with bun. And as some of you might know, Finland is the happiest country in the world, but it's also the biggest user of coffee and biggest user of sauna. So coffee, sauna, and happiness, that's what we need. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Saija, for this extremely comprehensive and thorough presentation. Whoa, so much information. If nothing else, now we know how to pronounce sauna properly.
Yeah.
A few times, because that's always the key ticking point.
Yeah.
You can now you can turn off the presentation. Now we have a couple of questions here from the audience. So Risto Rice is asking, around what years did bathing in the sauna hot room begin to diminish? It is still quite common in the Great Lakes region of the United States.
In the United States or in Finland?
In Finland.
I don't know if it has, I think probably after the Second World War was the turning point because of the housing changed. We started to have apartment buildings with showers. We didn't need to have a sauna. And when people, in fact, moved to the cities from the countryside after the Second World War, I think that was a time when people also lost their saunas. So they started to go to sauna only once a week, and often the sauna was a joint sauna, public sauna, or a sauna in the downstairs of the apartment building where you could have your sauna shift on once a week. So I think that was the time, probably maybe 60s and 70s was the biggest turning point. But then on 80s, people started to build their own houses on apartments. So in the shower, they had their small sauna added in. So that increased again the amount of sauna visits or sauna rooms in Finnish society.
Risto is continuing, like, have you used the dirt pit sauna?
Yes, in fact, we have one in Sauna Village.
And are there many others in operation in Finland?
A few. I think they are growing interest because the sauna culture has now living its new era, and people want to have some special saunas. They don't want to have electric saunas anymore. That's like no. But some people have like 3 or 4 saunas in their lot, and they want to experience different kind of saunas, like in resorts and public saunas. And I think there is, I know at least 4 or 5 dirt pit saunas that are like in public use right now.
Are they? What is it like? Like, you have been there, so.
So in fact, our dirt pit sauna that I in fact showed one picture, but it was in the front, so you can see that it was underground. It has the most humid löyly, so people really love it because it's tender and because it's it's been constructed underground. The humidness of the ground kind of comes into the sauna air, so it's really comfortable and kind of cuddling feeling in that sauna. Really humid. Perfect. And if you have some respirational things, it's really good for you.
Nancy Weigel is asking, did the Sami in the north have a sauna tradition?
Not really, no. Sami people and also the Swedish-speaking Finns didn't have what we consider a Finnish sauna culture. So because of their way of living, they didn't have a permanent habitation, so they didn't build saunas. So some of those original or native what do you call them, people, they have some, sorry, I can't remember the official name for those.
I think it's aboriginals.
Yeah, well, yes, aboriginals. So I think they might have some kind of right heat space, but if we talk about Finnish sauna culture or sauna culture, it always kind of needs walls around it. So I think the connection might be more throughout the wandering and tribal nations, like Native Americans that had tent-like structures, because you can move them, but they didn't use it in the way that sauna culture uses sauna spaces. For some reason in Finland, Swedish-speaking areas don't have a strong sauna culture as the Finnish-speaking areas.
That's interesting. I have thought about that at all.
Yeah.
Dawn is asking, does the younger Finnish population, like under 30, still adhere to these practices and beliefs? I guess it's about the behaviors and whatnot.
They do, and it's been great to see that it's really hip to go to sauna for people of 20s and under 30s. And they also practice like the bridal sauna is really popular nowadays, even before the wedding, and groom has their own party. And at least the bridal sauna has elements that used to be in the bridal saunas, like the rites and kind of a magical elements, flowers, washing away your past before going to your new relationship or marriage. And also the in-written ways that, you don't fart in sauna. Everybody knows that, and even young people doesn't fart in sauna or pee on the stove. So I think in that way, we've grown our generations pretty well. And also there's, in Christmas sauna, you should be silent. And I know that a lot of families still, and young people too, practices that. So yes, I believe that even the younger generation practice that. And I think they are more interested of these kind of things too, than the few previous generations.
Yeah, I think that the age may not be the problem. It's the alcohol use that could be the problem. Like that usually brings the worst.
Right. Right, and that's one thing too, that the young kids or the younger generations don't use alcohol that much in sauna. So unlike in Sauna Village, we don't allow alcohol in sauna because it's dangerous.
Yeah. Then Eero Kilpi, he is the North American Sauna Society's or Sauna Seura's president, and he is also presenting tomorrow. He and Upper Bench are going to be in the panel tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up yet, go in and sign up to hear the panel discussion. But he's asking, do you know about North American sauna scene? What are your thoughts on our way to get about 150 million saunas here in the US? Any
Well, I've had sauna in America once, in Seattle district. It was electric sauna. And then once in Astoria, I saw a sauna that I drove past, but it wasn't open at that time. So I have to say I don't have that much of experience from American sauna culture, but I've tried to follow up from Finland what's going on in America too, because of the Finnish Americans, which I have this relationship because of my studies when I was younger. I don't know. Maybe it's the health benefits and the relaxation, the mental health, the mindfulness might be the way to get through more saunas to America too, because that industry, if I may call it that way, is bigger there than it's here. But I can see that that would be something that could replace or give more complete mental and physical space for people to practice their well-being than it has been brought up earlier.
I think that, Eero, you have a blank canvas here, so there are lots of opportunities, so keep working on it.
Yeah.
Tommy Flanagan says, like, thanks for the invitation to Jämsä. He is getting his tickets already ready.
Great. I'll be waiting there. We're gonna have some.
Risto Silva is asking, barrel saunas are popular in the US. Are they popular in Finland?
Excuse me, I didn't hear.
Barrel saunas, those are what are
so, funnily enough, there's a barrel sauna factory in Jämsä, one of the oldest ones in Finland, in fact. It was founded in 1950s, I think, or 1960s. It's a family company. Barrel saunas used to be really popular here like 40 or 50, maybe 40 years ago, approximately. Nowadays, not so much, because we have these saunas that you can order and they'll bring it to your yard and you can just go in and start having a sauna. So I think that has replaced the barrel saunas. And also I think the Estonians are making those and bringing them to Finland. But yes, I think they're pretty gone. Maybe they are coming back again, like everything seems to come back as a fashion, but not yet.
Yeah, exactly. Frank Eld, he actually gave us a presentation last year about sauna building here in the United States and history of sauna here. He is kind of making a statement that he understands there's a renewed interest in building savu saunas actually in Finland.
Yes, so that started like 10 or 15 years ago, and we have fireproof smoke sauna stoves been developed, and also, like I told, that people are really into sauna and they want to have different kind of saunas. So they have the faster heating sauna, but then for the weekends or special occasions, they want to have a smoke sauna in their yard, because nowadays Finns consider smoke sauna as like the top of the sauna experience, because it's such a different way of heating it. It takes a long time. You kind of reward yourself with the sauna after hours of heating it, and also just the experience of once heated sauna. So I think like last 20 years have been the new coming of smoke saunas too, but in a modern way. So that's also important to notice. I don't know how many people do the old kind of a natural rock stove. I think they have more modern versions of it. But yes, correct.
Yeah, and Frank is also saying that he's coming in June to Sauna Village. So
great, let me know. I'll be there and I'll give a presentation, or that we can have a tour and go through all the saunas that we have here.
Exactly. He's asking for your contact information. So if okay, we will put your contact information.
Anyone can have it who wants to have more information.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wade Litt is asking, following up on underground saunas, are dirt pit saunas vented from anywhere but the door?
Yes, so there's a wooden structure, kind of chimney-like thing that comes through the roof above, and it's called lakkeinen, but it looks kind of like chimney, but doesn't connect to the stove, like not in any smoke sauna. The dirt pit or underground sauna that we have in Sauna Village also has a ventilation hole in the back wall. So I think like 2 rows of logs are above the ground with the grass roof, and there's the ventilation hole, but it's only during the heating when they're really important, and then during the sauna it brings in the fresh air, because then you have the door closed. So you always have to have a ventilation in sauna.
Great. Well, we are running out of the questions. Oh, there's one thing. How many turf saunas are still used?
Well, the problem with turf saunas is that they last approximately 15 years because the turf is wet. And when you have a sauna, the turf kind of gets in the wet, humidness. And when it rains, that happens too. So the structures that support the turf tiles are made of wood. So in 15 or 20 years, the turf sauna will collapse. So, and then you have to build it again. So we don't have old turf saunas left, but again, a new coming of turf saunas is on its way. And I know that at least 2 places in Finland have been planning or doing already a turf sauna. And we have also drawings in Sauna Village of traditional turf sauna that we're gonna, after we get all the other saunas restored and functioning, we have time to make new ones, and that's first in our list to do. So one day in Sauna Village, there's a possibility of visiting an Oulu district turf sauna too. So, but yeah, so they are kind of short-lived thing. You have to rebuild them all the time, like every now and then.
Yeah, and Kari Laukkarinen is making our final statement, and I think that we will hear more about this tomorrow, because how do we compromise a sauna experience here? He says having a good sauna is essential, so let's all work hard to spread the word löyly to the lips also in North America. As we all know, we go to the gym saunas and nobody throws löyly, and there are lots of signs like no water, no water allowed. But I think that that's part of the compromise of doing sauna wrong.
Yeah, I've found out that there's saunas like that in Finland too nowadays, and I'm pretty worried about that.
So we all have
your
to
own sauna experience.
Become sauna ambassadors, and so that this will become a correct and right kind of experience, and not some compromised warm room in your sweatpants.
Well, and that's the thing with sauna. Everyone should have their own kind of sauna experience, and the way you experience it is by how you put water on the stove, or how long you want to sit in the sauna. And I think it kind of restricts your sauna experience or your personal way of having a sauna if you can adjust the amount of load or steam or heat or something like that. So it's essential. It's really a part of freedom too, to have a sauna what you want to have.
Yeah, exactly. Pia Gunderson is actually doing my work, stating that this was a fantastic presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it really was. And she's also saying, like, one of her earliest memories of sauna was her first and only savu sauna at her uncle's cottage in Finland. Now she has sauna at her home, and her son has rediscovered it. So
good. And I have to say, the second smoke sauna time is a lot better than the first one.
Exactly. I have never been in smoke sauna, and I was always kind of hesitant. Like, I had a colleague who always needed to take 2 days extra days off because he had to go to his summer house to start heating savu sauna. Yeah. I guess it takes days to heat.
That's how you can tell that it's really good sauna if you want to take days off from work just to have a good sauna. So
I just thought that
for you too in Sauna Village.
Excellent. Very good. We have run out of all the questions. Everybody who is still there right now, remember to sign up for tomorrow's and rest of the week's programs. More to come. This was a great start of the week. And thank you, Saija, so much. This is your Sunday. It's a pyhäpäivä.
Yes, but it's not a sauna day, so I'll the best way to spend it is with you guys talking about sauna, which is my second favorite thing to do after having a sauna.
Exactly, and we are not spooking sauna spirits any which way.
No.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch, and I'm sure that you will get visitors from our crowd here.
Well, you know where to find me on my days off.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Thank you so much. Thanks for the audience. Thanks for everybody. Thank you, Saija, again. This was fantastic.
Thank you.